What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Masterpiece Gattai version of Getsuei. So this is the next in the series of train bots that make up the Combiner Raiden. So here is the train mode. It actually comes in packaged this way. You can tell the front because it's got this little thing followed by this piece here. They are symmetrical, so it is hard to tell which one's the front, but this is the front. And pretty nice details there. You got the numbering there. You got windshield wipers, transparent glass. This is actually all transparent piece here. Some headlights, some details, nice accents there. You got windows along the side, nice yellow or beige stripe. Here's the back, very, very similar to the front, but all pretty cool looking. It does have wheels here. Those wheels do roll pretty nicely. It also comes with its own tracks. If you take two pieces and you slide them together, it looks like metal, but it is just a plastic there. And if you put that together, then you can put this on top. And just like the first one, I find that it doesn't, it likes to fall off the track, but it can sit on there. It does look nice overall, really cool looking. There's two other accessories here that it comes with. So these are die-cast metal. These will fit into here. So they are pegged in a way where it only goes one way. So make sure you get them lined up. So there's two short ones and two longer ones. So make sure you line up the shorter ones here. And I guess this is because it's a electric car, so you need this. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a train guy, so I'm not sure, but I think it has something to do with the power source. Anyway, there it goes. That's what it looks like with those. Now you can also take this guy here, which is their Shuki, the first one that we got, and connect them together. So there's a little connector here, and they're just opposite keyed. So you can just push these together. And it's just friction fit. But then you can take the track from Shuki and connect that together. And then take this, connect that together. And there you go. You can combine them. Now the funny thing is, the tracks are different sizes. What the heck is going on here? These are wider than these. So eventually when you get all of these together, you will not be able to move them across the track. That seems so silly to me. I don't understand. I mean, why would you make the tracks different? But anyway, you can display it like this. And like I mentioned, it doesn't like to stay, but you can display it like this on the track. Now, one other accessory you get is the gun, which you can store here in the vehicle mode. So go ahead and lift this up. You'll see there's a little slot right here to take the gun, and then this will kind of slot in. So you can see there's two little tabs here on the gun. If you get this right in here, it'll slot in and tab in. It does kind of force these apart, so you want to hold this together. And then there's a little hole here that'll meet up with the back of the gun. So, oops, I have this upside down. Get that in there, and then get this closed up. And that'll tab right there. And now you can store that gun underneath. Speaking of the bottom, you can also have a little tab here. So you have this, which ports in right into that screw hole in there. And that will allow you to use the display stand. So if you have any of the Takara Masterpiece display stands, you can plug it into here, and now this guy can be flying through the air. I'm not going to do it. I find it to be silly, but you can have that option for display if you want to. And for a size comparison, there it is next to the MP10 Optimus Prime. Obviously, it does not scale with Masterpiece at all. It's just not meant to be, but there you go, for scale. And just for fun, there it is next to the Moon Studios version of Getsuei. Obviously, way bigger in terms of scale. Now, the train mode on the Takara definitely has more detail, more paint, and just overall looks more like the train. This one's got kind of this weird thing on the bottom where, you know, that really doesn't look like a train at all. It's just kind of a panel. And then coming to the back, you know, you got a little more detail here on the Takara. You also get the tracks with the Takara version. Now, I'm not planning to do a versus here on these two. I already did a versus with the Takara version of Shuki, and it got destroyed in that versus, obviously, because these have more articulation, they're bigger, they're better hardware, better quality. So there's no reason to do another versus only to see the Takara one get destroyed again. But I just wanted to show you this so you get a sense for yourself the difference between the two. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into his combined mode. So go ahead and come to here, and we're going to unpeg this panel. And that allows to unpeg here and here on the sides. This whole thing is going to end up folding upwards like this. And then this is just going to sit down like that. Come to the bottom here, you're going to take this whole panel, this is going to slide back and then accordion down. And it actually is pretty firm, so you got to give it a good push to get it pegged down and flat onto the foot. Come into here, you're going to fold out this heel spur for the foot. Right, then we'll take care of the top. So come to the top here, we're going to unpeg this from here. And we take this gun out of here. And we have to kind of unpeg all of this. Unfortunately, that's just the way it works. So separate the leg. And if you need a spudger, just go ahead and grab a spudger and separate these tabs in here. There's a whole bunch of tabs holding it together. And you'll get it apart basically like this. Come to the top here, and we're going to unpeg these. And these are on sliders, so slide it out this way. It's going to rotate down. You can push it back in on those sliders. There is a slot right here and a tab on the inside. So get that tabbed in to the side there. And this was not meant to come out, but it does come out. So just push this all back in. And then on the back here, we're going to slide this down. And then same thing on this side, slide this down. And slide this out, rotate downwards, and then slide back in. And then we can squeeze this leg back together. So there's tabs back here, and there's tabs in the front. So make sure you get all those tabs back in, including the ones on here. And let me just make sure these made their way in. These are the ones that like to not go back in, so make sure you get those back in. All right, and everything should be tabbed and squeezed together, and then these should be tabbed onto the side, so it's nice and firm and flush. And then in the instructions, they show that these are supposed to sit down at an angle like this, and then these are supposed to fold down like that. So basically sticking up and out, but then inwards like that. All right, and there we have Getsuei in his combined mode. Got to say, it's not very stable. I mean, here's the bottom of the foot. You can see it's thinner than the rest. So it does have a heel spur, but it just doesn't, I don't know. We'll see. Now, they ask you to put these together like this. I think it makes more sense if you put these out and then these kind of sit on top. Nothing really tabs together, but at least you can have it kind of sitting on top and holding those from moving. So that's my recommendation there. This one on the front just kind of sits there. Now, I don't know what the joint's going to look like. This is obviously not the knee joint. If it is, then this is not going to work. But it looks like it's going to slide in here, and then it's going to bend on the top joint. So it'll bend in whatever joint connects to it right here. So it doesn't bend here, at least as far as I can tell. You do have articulation like this. So that's the ankle tilt, which is not too bad. You get a little bit of back and forth here, so you can get back to there and forward to there. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Moon Studios version, Dark Knight, and it's just kind of ridiculous. I mean, they really shouldn't be calling this MP in any way. Look how big this is comparatively, but there you go for a sense of size. All right, now let's get this guy into his robot mode. You can go directly to robot mode from the train, but this was kind of the easier first stop along the way, so I figured to just do that first. So we're going to open up these up and pull them out on these sliders. Give you enough room. And you can separate these legs as well. And like pretty much go all the way. We're going to fold this back down. And now that we've separated all this, it makes it a little easier. But you can bring these panels down. They'll give you a room. This articulation joint, which you use in the combiner mode, it doesn't have a lock. So it's just going to keep bugging you. So just be aware of that. All right, so let's take care of the legs first. So these, we're going to fold around to the back. So rotate this to the back. This foot is going to just end up staying where it is. This piece here is going to accordion down and sit on the bottom of the leg. Go to the back here, we're going to take this panel here, it's going to fold inwards and just store in there. This is going to come up and rotate all the way around and then tab in here. And then this panel is just going to come down and sit like that. Yes, it just sits like that. It doesn't lock in or anything. All right, next, go ahead and take this panel here, open that up, and we have to push this knee in. You can see there's a little slider right there. So give this a push, and that'll kind of solidify that knee. You need to do that, otherwise you won't be able to use this ratchet joint. This is going to rotate around. There's two tabs here. And we're going to open this up, open that up. And that's going to come back down and sit on this side and tab in here. So get all those tabs in on the inside of that leg. And that's basically one leg done. Right, so go ahead and do the same thing on this side. I'll do that off camera. I'll be right back. And final step for the legs, go ahead and slide the waist forward on this joint here. And that kind of lines up the waist correctly with the abs. All right, now we can work on the upper body. So come to the top and back here. We're going to lift up on this panel here. And that's going to fold back and tab in here. You can kind of see that's going to end up making the chest, but that is what holds it, that little tab. And so that, if you're wondering what this is for, that's why it's there. Okay, go ahead and unpeg these panels from the front. They're just tabbed in both places. Allow you to take this panel, fold that down. This is going to rotate around 180 degrees, and it's supposed to transform it like that. They want it sitting on the back. I don't think that's the best, but that is how they recommend it. Right. From the front here, we'll take care of these arms. So fold these out, fold that out. We're going to rotate this around. So you need to fold the arm to the inside so you can have a space to fold that. So now that that's there, you can fold this around. Then this whole thing is going to come to the inside and rotate downwards. And so we'll do that again. It is a little confusing, the number of sequences here. All right, so open this up. You need to give that arm space to rotate, so make sure you get the little slot right there. Allow you to take this, rotate this around. Take the whole arm, bring that out on this joint here. Fold that down. Come to the bottom here, open up the hands, then rotate those. Same on this one. Open that up. Rotate that, close that up. Come to the back here, we're going to open up this panel, and the head is obviously hiding back here. So bring that up. This panel is going to come back down and close up here. This head panel doesn't really lock into anything, so you can still move this panel, but the backpack sort of holds it. Take this heel spur, fold that back in, and your back should end up like this. This doesn't really plug into anything. I mean, it kind of does. So it sits, these two hinges fit into here. And that sort of holds it. It's not the firmest hold, but that's what you're supposed to do. All right, and there we have Getsuei in his robot mode. Not too bad looking from the front, but yeah, I'm afraid to show you the back. It just looks awful. I mean, there's so much junk. I had to check multiple times just to make sure this is accurate. That is how you transform it. It's supposed to be sticking straight out the back. These panels just kind of sit here. They don't peg in or anything on the back of the legs. So that is accurate. The heel spurs are very strangely designed. So because of the way they're designed, it's a very thin piece. So he tends to be back heavy and he wants to fall backwards. You can kind of angle the legs outwards. That kind of helps. But overall, it's just very, very awkwardly made. Now, you could probably reduce the center of gravity so it's closer to the middle, but without this sticking out. I'm not sure why they don't just have it like this. I guess it's more accurate. I don't know, but I think it looks better like that. You do have some translucent silver detail here with the Autobot symbol. Pretty nice head sculpt. Got a little bit of silver paint on the face and then gray here on the top. Going down, pretty much not much paint here except for the yellowish beige here that you see on the sides. But that's really about it. Now you can use his blaster here, just in this gray plastic. And you can get that into here. And it's a nice looking blaster. It's just very, very plain because there's no paint on it, but you can do that. And if you want to, you can use this adapter here. So this will fit into his back. And then you can plug this into any stand that you have from Takara. I'm not going to bother doing it, but you can use this robot mode on the stand as well. For its articulation, the head is on a ball joint. The neck panel can actually move as well, so you can get a little bit higher up. But basically down to there, up to there, rotates around. A little tiny bit of side to side out of that. Shoulders have a reverse butterfly, but nothing forward. Rotation at the bicep. They will out to the side on here. That's a joint for the foot, but it tends to not get, it just moves when you don't want it to. So you just kind of have to watch out for that. Rotation all the way around. You have a rotation at the bicep, but this panel will kind of get in your way. So you kind of move that panel with it. You have a double joint elbow, gets you the full bend on that elbow. Rotation at the wrist, and then a single pin for the hands. Kind of like a mini bot, to be honest. But coming down to here, you have a rotation at the waist. No ab crunch, but you get this side thing, which is actually an irritation for me anyway. These hip skirts can lift up, and they're on a double hinge. But let the leg go out to there. Forward to there, there's a hip skirt in the way. Back, basically not at all. It's held up by the design. Kind of stupid. You have a rotation at the thigh there, and his legs like to come apart. You have a single jointed knee, and this just likes to come apart as you start manipulating it, but you get a 90-degree bend out of that knee. You have ankle tilt here on the toe. It's not really an ankle, it's more like a toe, and then the toe can go up and down. So there you go for his articulation. And for size comparison, there he is next to the Transform Element Optimus Prime. And for fun, there is the Netflix or Earthrise Optimus Prime. Now, this is supposed to be a masterpiece, but it is in no way anywhere near the scale to fit in with Masterpiece. The MP-44, in case you have him as your Masterpiece Prime, is the same size as this guy. So it doesn't make any sense at all. It's just too small. Now, it might fit with these guys, your Chug Scale. And actually, I think it's perfect. You know, he's just slightly taller than, you know what? Honestly, it's the same size as Chug Scale. So I feel like even though they're calling it MPG, it is meant to fit in perfectly with your Chug Scale. But there you go for comparison. So final thoughts on the Transformers Masterpiece Getsuei. Let's start with the positives. The train mode looks really good. I think they did a good job representing that actual real-life train. And then the tracks that you get are really nice. At the end of the day, you're going to have a whole bunch of these tracks, so you can kind of plug them together and display them like that. And this guy loves to fall down. So that's kind of a nice option, right? Having all the trains. I think people who are fans of these trains are definitely going to take advantage of that. Overall, the train accessories work. You know, you got the tracks, you got the display port. You got these pieces here, all of that works well. Negatives wise, the robot mode leaves a lot to be desired. There's lots of kibble and pieces and things that get in the way of its own articulation. Just the sculpt of it is very, very poorly done. This is one thing, just no explanation. Why would they have it straight back? Obviously, it makes more sense to fold it down or even to have it collapse somehow. But that's just the nature of this. It's very kibbly. And then on top of that, he's very unstable. As you saw, I kind of knocked it over. He has a hard time standing on these very, very thin toes and feet. So you kind of have to balance him. And that's kind of a fatal flaw for me. Like, if you can't stand up, and it's meant to be a transformer that stands up and, you know, you pose it, that's got to be kind of an issue. And the price point is another problem. $140 for a Masterpiece figure that isn't Masterpiece scaled and isn't Masterpiece quality. I can't recommend it. It's just too expensive. Now, if you are a big fan of these trains and it's something that you're just, you know, that's your thing, then maybe I could recommend these because, you know, it just stands out as a train collecting piece. But as far as a transformer and as far as a Masterpiece figure, I can't recommend this. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.